So for our next speaker, Stephen Jaye. Stephen, did you pay for people to come here? Let me tell you a little bit about this guy. So Stephen's hill that he will die on, which actually gave me pause, and I may reconsider it because of what he said. You ready?
Yep.
Okay, you're willing to stand here while I say these things.
Yeah, I'm listening.
All right. Stephen said, we cannot eliminate daylight savings time. Wait, there's more. There's more. Until we do away with the standard 9 to 5 workday. Valid, right? You get to live. Okay. And in describing his bedroom as a Yelp review, we don't have stars because that's too specific, especially when it comes to his room. I love this. The room has no clear theme. Is it about music, random games, classic cars, historical figures, famous on-air meteorologists? I'm going to say this because he wrote it, and I'm going to look like an idiot. Bruh, pick a theme. So here's Stephen to tell you some really amazing things about cutting down on screen time, which is legit.
Raise your hand if you do not have a smartphone with you right now. Didn't think so. Ever since 2007, we've had our screen time balloon through the roof, and our mental health has fallen apart. We fall into anxiety, despair, and unfortunately, loneliness. I first noticed this issue back in 2010 when I first started seeing people pull out their phone and look at it instead of engaging with the people in front of them, and thought this is not going to be good for humanity. Well, I wish I was wrong, but I did look a little bit more in depth into this, and through the 2010s, I saw children younger and younger glued to these tablets, and I thought to myself, this isn't really voluntary. This isn't by choice. They're really tapping into something about us. So I hit the books, and I learned how their incentive is around keeping us hooked and that they use some of these deep psychological tricks. So I just want to emphasize one thing to everybody. Who here thinks they spend too much time on screens, on their phones? I do. It's not your fault. The more time you're stuck, the more money they make, and they just want to get the bag, right? They do not really care about your well-being, and they use a lot of psychological tricks. In fact, the same tricks used by many of the casinos. You know, fear of missing out, variable rewards, and even really bright, shiny cues, such as the slot machines and my favorite, 777. I do love casino gambling. But we're hard on ourselves and we're hard on each other because of the fundamental attribution error, which basically states that we attribute people's behavior way too much to their character and not enough to their context. And the context that we're in is that we're all being manipulated. And my question is, do these people care about your well-being? No. As I said before, they just want to make money, and the more time people are glued to their phones, the more money they're worth. That's simple, that's all it is. We're also hard on each other because everything we do right now to cut down on screen time relies on willpower. And many studies have shown that willpower may not be enough, may not be the best way, because we have some ideas around willpower. The 20th century theory was the ego depletion theory. And this states that we have a certain amount of willpower and we use it up over the course of the day, but that some people just happen to have more than others. And this comes from an experiment involving children and marshmallows. In 1970, they gave a bunch of children a marshmallow and said, if you can wait 5 minutes, you get another one. And supposedly the kids who could wait that 5 minutes were better suited for life. Yeah. Recent research has thrown this into a little bit of disarray. These studies, mostly in the 2010s, attributed way more of this to our circumstances in life and also how we feel about ourselves. But there's a good thing about that, because that means we can do things to improve our ability to resist some temptations. We can take care of ourselves, be around the right people, set boundaries, even take on tasks and complete them to improve our feeling of self-worth. Last month, I went to visit my sister's family in Illinois. One day I was engaged with their kids the whole day. My screen time was under an hour. The next day I was waiting for my flight home at O'Hare. Very different story. You see, it really is all about our circumstances, our setting. I fell into the same trap as you in the 2010s. All the sites that you know made you feel shitty, but you just kept going on them. Sites like Instagram, YouTube, and of course, city data forums. They can just really, really hook you in. I tried some ridiculous things to cut down on my screen time. The most ridiculous one was forcing myself to do planks and burpees every time my screen time exceeded an hour. And of course, I did a lot of the things that you all probably did. Raise your hand if you have set a limit on one of your apps and upheld that limit, kept to it. One or two, but most of us just ignore that limit. And the key is that all these tactics, once again, rely on willpower. So I'll tell you what does work. This basic ass alarm clock. Because it allows me to not sleep with my phone. There's a lot of small things like this we can do. But don't sleep with your phone. Sleep with your loved ones. Find someone you love and sleep with them. Also, I love my activities. I love being out in nature. I love being social. I love being active in the community and working in my business. And when I think about all these things I like to do now, I look at all these sites and my reaction is, meh, and I have not been on city data forums in almost 10 years. Thank you very much, and I would love to connect with you with any of these methods right here on the screen.
Let's go, Steve!
That came from a deep place. I respect it.